You ever wonder what would happen if you took a generation of kids, raised them to have no sense at all whatsoever, let them grow up, no guidance, no structure? It's called the No Kings protest.
What should we do?
Unc will help us.
Welcome back to the Unc podcast. I'm Unc, this is Cam, and we're here to talk about these people that don't seem to make any sense. Not to me, at least. What do you think, Cam?
Oh, you mean the we shouldn't have voter ID? Trump is a king, but Obama wasn't. Bush wasn't. Biden wasn't. Oh no, wait, Biden wasn't even in office. Biden was just there. He just showed up. So those people,
Yeah, so my whole thing is I can't think of a king in history that ever lowered taxes for people, made it easier for the people to own weapons, pretty much
you
gave the
stop
people back rights and freedoms
stop
and
7
made them
wars.
more free, not
7
less. I've
wars.
never heard of any kind of dictator doing anything like that.
7 wars stopped. Seven. So what if we're in Iran? No, it doesn't matter. 7 wars stopped. People don't look at the overall. They only look at one issue. That's like
Yeah, but even still, like they're talking about kings, like the guy's supposed to be some kind of a king or a dictator, and he's doing the exact opposite of what a king or a dictator would do. The first thing the king or a dictator do is takes away the weapons from the people. We have the most freedom to carry weapons in this country that we've ever had since the founding of the country, since before they started destroying our Second Amendment.
you're making too many logical arguments. You got to make the regular arguments with them first, right? First off, they say he's racist, but he dated black women. They say he's misogynistic, but most of the people you see in his cabinet are women. Everything they say about him is always the opposite. Then again, you have to remember this as well, right? We're in a war with China, Russia, and if you want, we are being manipulated by Israel. All right? Those are the 3 players right now on the chessboard. Everybody else is irrelevant. Irrelevant. European Union, irrelevant. Africa, irrelevant. Asia besides China, irrelevant. They're irrelevant. No one else in the
Asia
world
besides
power.
China.
Yeah, besides China.
No, it's just the way
There's
you said
a
it.
lot
Asia besides China, man. There's only one important. We know who's important over there. Everybody else.
Yeah, China.
I know.
Korea don't do anything. What is South Korea gonna do? Nothing. So anyway, like I was saying, you know what I'm saying? Those are the places that have real power in the world. And what we're doing and what we're living in is a world war that no one is talking about, that no one realizes is actually going on. And what I mean by nobody realizes is going on is because they're not talking about it openly, that we're at economic war. Well, if we're at economic war, it's the same thing as regular shooting war. What's the difference? Oh, somebody didn't die. So what? Why do you guys value death so much? Why is death such a high honor for you guys, or of high value? Oh my God, you died. Oh my God, somebody died. They moved on to another life. They moved on spiritually. So now let's get it back into actual morals, values, and what people are doing. What most people are doing is talking out their ass. They're just speaking with no content. It's just words. Nothing of value, nothing of substance, nothing at all of substance. Most of the things is jokes. They're just a joke. They're not serious. They're not actual professional people. These people are workers. Majority of people you see are people who are getting paid to protest. They got buses that coming in, and these people are getting paid to be there. They're getting paid to show up. Most of these people do not have jobs, and the ones that do are guaranteed you over a certain age, women, white women. It is what it is. It's not me, it's the statistics. Now you can go around and be like, oh, these are people out there protesting, they feel a certain way. Why aren't the immigrants out there protesting? At the end of the
But
day
look, but
now,
they're a little bit more dangerous than that though, because even though the stuff they're saying has no substance behind it, they come up with some real catchy phrases
Slogan.
to
Yeah.
make it seem like they have a cause. And now they get people on board because, oh, that sounds like a noble cause, even though the wording doesn't match what they're actually about. You know, I was listening to that protest, the the No Kings protest, one we're talking about. And they're sitting there talking about how the people that are being targeted by ICE and, the good people of Minnesota are rescuing their neighbors and saving them from the evil ICE agents and all the people that lost their lives at the hands of ICE, like as if ICE is MS-13 or something. That's the way they're
No, fuck all
talking.
that. Fuck all that. They need to come up with the actual numbers and sit there and list the names, list the cities, and list their affiliation of the people that died, the people that are getting arrested, the people that got falsely arrested. I hear that shit all the time. Oh my God, ICE just running down on any and everybody. Okay, where are the lawsuits?
Mhm.
You guys are organized. You guys are lawyers. Where are the lawsuits? Bring it to court. You guys saying that they ran down on you illegally? Bring it to court. Where are the lawsuits? I'm just trying to figure it out. Most of these people that are talking that are politicians are lawyers. They're lawyers that are pushing this agenda of the No Kings. So if ICE is doing illegal shit, then you sue them. I got arrested illegally. I right now have a lawsuit against the NYPD. Why? Because they illegally arrested me. They released me, dismissed the charges. Now I got a lawsuit going because they did something that was illegal. So if I can do it, why can't these mass group of people do it? Why is it not a class action lawsuit against ICE? Because it's all fabrication. It's exaggeration and fabrication. They're either absolutely lying or they're lying about certain details in it.
Yeah. Like ICE
Oh,
is
I
just doing their
ran down
job. They're doing what they're well within their rights to do.
155,000
That's what it is.
weren't legal. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like the percentages that they're talking about. One, it's like this, right? We have a problem, but they don't want a solution for the problem. They just want to cry about the problem. And then when somebody else comes up with the solution for the problem, now you're the bad guy because you actually taking care of the problem. It's the same accountability thing. It's the same single mother thing. Notice who are more single mothers? Democrats.
Mhm. And it's
Why
funny,
is
not just single mothers,
people
but women in
right
general.
now?
I
Hold
noticed
on.
that when they come to you and they're telling you their problems, they don't want a solution. They just want you to feel bad for them. If you give them a solution, for some reason they get mad because now it's almost like you're minimizing their problems because you're showing them how easy it is to fix. And the Democrats do the same shit.
It's basically what's going on is you have people who are actors who are playing a role. You have people who wrote the treatment up, and this is what they feel is going to push people. Then you have people that pay for people to be there. So look, there's a lot of people there. What you're looking at is a stage event. It's staged. There's no accountability, and that's the problem. The problem is that people do not have accountability to the things that they're saying, they're doing, and they're not showing you what it is. Hey, look, this is how I found out this information. Hey, look, this is the information that I think is correct. They'll never do that because they don't want to have a solution to the problem. They just want to have a problem. And that is what's going on. What's going on is you seeing people that want to have a problem and they don't want no solution. They don't want to correct the issue. They want to have an issue to cry about so that they can have a victimhood. So back to the No Kings protest now, right? Now, as we were saying when we were speaking, there basically are no accountability with these people. And if you notice it, which is a very weird statistics, but most single women, nothing against single women, because I do deal with a lot of single women, weirdly enough, but a lot of my friends are single women. I don't know why. But also, I've dealt with single women. I probably will deal with another single woman
Are
again anyway, regardless.
wait. Are you meaning to say single mother?
That's what I said, single women. I mean, single mother. That's what I'm going to say. I'm sorry, single mother.
Are you good?
Single mother. Okay. No. Good. Thank you for correcting me because I would have kept going like that and didn't realize it. So with single mothers, what I've realized is that they get caught up in this type of protests and they get caught up in these type of things because of an accountability thing. Now, what we were talking about with them, with the accountability factor, and with our families, the accountability factor is the same thing with these people. It's just a different type of accountability because these people are political and they're getting manipulated on purpose by, not by culture purposely, but by the media unpurposely, because they're not purposely going there to go get manipulated. They're going there and getting manipulated unpurposely, thinking that these people are the experts. Now, somebody like a single mother who get into the realm of that lifestyle of I don't need no man and da. That's the cult. That's their choice in the culture manipulating them. They choose to follow that culture of their manipulation. In this aspect of it, these people are being manipulated maliciously. The news organizations and the political structure of America and of the world are manipulating these people maliciously because they know that what they're telling them and teaching them is wrong. And a lot of them don't even realize how the government even works. Their idea is that you have a feeling, you have a thought, and that's it. It just changes from there. And you don't go against or compromise with anybody else on the other side because it goes against your beliefs and thoughts. But they don't realize that that's not how business works, period. And that's definitely not how the government works. The government works with nothing but bare negotiations. Everything's a negotiation. And I feel as though a lot of people miss the fact that they don't even think of a negotiation involved. They hear a topic, they get a feeling about what they think it should be. They watch the news tells them how they should actually feel, and then they just follow whatever the news says. Oh, he did this. He's got to be like that because this is how this is, and somebody who does this is a king. Okay, let's go back now into the actual rules of the fucking government now and see that what he did was actually legal and constitutional, like the tariffs. Like my cousin, one of my other cousins just talked about how the tariffs are backfiring, right? And I'm like, no, the tariffs are not backfiring. The tariffs were actually done correctly, is that it was written wrong. Now, I've been to court cases where I've seen motions get thrown out because it was written wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The law is much different and deeper than people think. The law shows and has things in it where it's three different laws. Literal law, which means that exactly what is written is exactly how it's supposed to be, exactly how it's supposed to be interpreted. Opinionated law, which is your opinion on how you go about what's said on such topic, law, statute, regulation. Then there's the judge's opinion on what history has said that this is what usually the courts rule for in this particular law, regulation, or motion, or complaint, or anything legal paperwork wise. So it's three different types of law: history, your opinion, and literal. Three different types of law. And if you don't understand that, then you can't comprehend law, and you can't comprehend the government, and you can't have an opinion because your opinion is tainted and invalid because you don't understand what you're even talking about. You don't understand the mechanisms behind it. It's like saying, oh, I hit a pothole, I need a new tire, but you didn't check the rim? Did you check the suspension? Maybe your fucking ball joint went. Maybe your control arm cracked. You don't know what's going on under the car. You have to look at all of that stuff, but you're not even thinking about that. You just need a tire. I've pulled up to people before that's like, oh, I just need a tire. I need to go to the tire shop. Like, no, bro, your rim is cracked. You can't tow that car. I mean, you can't drive that car. The rim is cracked. You get into the tire, it's not going to work. You need a whole nother rim. No, but I just hit the power. Yo, oh, that's irrelevant. You hit the fucking shit. I'm looking at the crack, and that's not going to work with you putting a tire on there. So you got to get brought to the dealership or to your house or to a shop that's going to fix the rim. Or I love the people who are like, oh, I got a flat tire. I got to go home. Why don't I just tow you to a tire shop, let you get a tire and drive home? Why would you need to get two tows and have to get towed again to the tire shop the next morning? But this is the type of shit I deal with. This is the type of mentality people have.
Uh, it's like the people that take a day off from work because they're having car trouble. It's like you'd rather lose the whole day instead of just taking an Uber and You know what I mean? Like taking that
No,
out of your day's pay.
the people who do shit like they're gonna get told to the dealership with the car, as though they're gonna fix the car with the dealership. The car might be there at the dealership for at least a day or two, and you're going to the dealership with the car for what? Call them on the phone and speak to them on the phone, and figure out, or somebody who's broken
But
down
the dealership
and they
won't
don't
give
know
them a
where they're at.
loaner car?
Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't. It depends on your warranty, and it depends on what's wrong with the car also. If it's like a dealer issue, then the dealer will definitely, because that's their fault. But if it's not their issue, like no, they're not gonna just give you a loaner car. Well, for a tire,
Oh,
no,
yeah, man.
nigga, I'm gonna fix your tire, and then you come get the car in the morning, or you come get the car later on that day, or whatever. You know what I'm saying, whatever their schedule is, however they feel like they want to do it. But what I'm saying is that people don't even think into things like that. So, something that affects directly, they won't even look into it. They'll make an opinion and have a mindset. This is what's gonna happen, instead of looking into what it is. Just like people who go to. You ever see that movie with Kevin Hart and Will Ferrell, the where he was going to jail
No.
and he was teaching them about being in jail? There's people that's like that who know they have to go to prison and they want to learn. Like, yo, how is it in there? What do you do? Like, what if I get into a situation like that's people who have a sense. You're going into a situation you don't know about. You ask these questions. I know people who like, oh, I'm just going to the dealership. Why would you? And I'd ask them like, why are you going to the dealership? Because I'm towing my car there. Yeah, but the dealership is not going to be ready for you. Did you make an appointment? No, I didn't make an appointment. Oh, so then you're definitely not getting seen today. You're not going to get the car. Not going to get seen tomorrow. Why are you coming in the tow truck with me? Why do you need to go to the dealership at 11 o'clock at night? What, you want to confirm that I'm dropping off your car in my $150,000 tow truck with your $20,000 car? You think I'm stealing your $20,000 car, my $150,000 tow truck that has a side of the name on it and a number and the address and like, what are y'all talking about? But this is how silly people are.
And that's how they end
They
up
really
at
think so.
protests like the No Kings protest. Bro, did you see in Minnesota? Did you see this song they started it off with, bro?
Well, yeah, that's another thing too. Now, right now, that's where I was gonna get to next. The propaganda. This is all propaganda. Even at war with Iran, where people are like, oh, they didn't. Iran is pushing out this video. Hey, yo, when Iran ever was a threat or a problem, like a problem where we're scared? No, a problem economically because they're shutting down certain things that where our commerce has to come past. Yes, but when were they a problem where we're scared because they made a threat?
I think I think North
And
Korea is
when
more
were
of a
they?
threat than Iran ever was.
So North Korea, who's actually shooting missiles into the fucking shit, who actually got ballistic missiles, who we know got nuclear weapons and capable nuclear weapons. Not like some nuclear weapon that's not going to work. Some shit that we know is going to work.
And still, it was like, okay.
We call them Rocket Man. Yeah, whatever.
Rocket Man, what it is.
What rockets? You're gonna shoot 2 rockets? Our systems can knock down 150 at a time. We're worried about Russia shooting 500 at a time. We're not worried about the 1 rocket you got. What we are worried about is Iran taking a dirty bomb, selling it to the Houthis or to Hezbollah or to Hamas, and Hamas or Hezbollah or Houthis bringing it to like somewhere like Israel or bring it to New York and blowing that shit up, or London and blowing it up. That's the premise of what they're saying as Iran is a threat. That's what they're saying. But at the same time now, we in America are getting our own propaganda used against us as well as foreign propaganda. So I don't believe the government as well as I don't believe the foreign entity as well. I believe what I see is that we're still bombing and we don't see much of a retaliation. That's what I believe. I believe that we don't see or hear that there's so much different people getting killed. They know where we're at. They know where the ships are. Why don't they shoot the missiles to the ships then? Knock the ship down. They got the hypersonic missile. They got weapon systems that can knock out the carriers. Because they don't do that because they're not stupid. They're not stupid enough to do something like that and then have the retaliation. Our retaliation for something like that is going to be crazy.
Facts.
Then at the same time, don't put it past our leadership to put our men in harm's way on purpose to get hurt so they can have a premise to go in.
Facts.
That's where people are fucked up with. People are fucked up with the fact that don't think that our government is that morally sound, and definitely do not believe that the other side, who's less morally sound than our government, the other side who's less morally sound than our government, with all of the shit that our government has did, they are less morally sound than our government. Now, our government is not 100% right neither. We're not going to say that. You understand? What we will say is that our government, we will back our government, but once the government gets too crazy, we need to check them. Now, that's what the No Kings protest is supposed to be about, but they didn't check Bush, they didn't check Biden, and they definitely didn't check Obama, which Obama, who, if everybody was so mad at Bush, then voted in Obama, and then Obama implemented the same plans, the same, basically the same exact executive orders. I mean, he did so much stuff that Bush did. He just extended everything that Bush did. That's what Obama did. Obama 1 was the
But he
extension
was
of Bush.
smooth about it.
But nobody protested. They were talking about there was going to be a revolution in America because of Bush, because of the Iraq War, because of 9/11.
Yeah, because Bush talked like a cowboy, and Obama was smooth. Whenever Obama talked, like no matter what he was saying, people would just get lost in his voice and wasn't even paying attention to what that man was saying. Bush was like, "I'm a cowboy."
But here we go. I'm about to break it down right now for you. I'm about to say the most important thing that you could probably listen to me say in a long time. Every single administration has an event that happens that people do not agree with. Let me repeat that. Every single administration has an event that people do not agree with that causes the administration or people around the administration or people inside of the administration to gain power. Every single administration since JFK. Actually, no, before that. Every single administration since, let's say, who was before FDR?
Oh,
Roosevelt.
Cleveland.
No, that's one. So after Roosevelt won World War I, okay, World War I, every single president since World War I has had some major issue to deal with.
Harry Truman,
because
right?
of
Was president in World War I? Or was that World War II?
After Roosevelt. Truman was after Roosevelt.
Okay.
Truman was after Eisenhower. Eisenhower was after Roosevelt. After the war, we elected Eisenhower because he was the 5-star general. He was the Allied commander, the supreme leader, the supreme Allied commander. That's what he was. All right, so let's go back now to what I'm saying. Reagan, we had the fall of the Soviet Union. We also had the drug wars, right? Under Bush, we had the drug wars. We had an influx of drugs coming in, right? Bush, who owns half of Panama. Let's get there. We want to get to that. That's a whole other episode in itself. The Bushes, who own $200 to $500 million worth of hotels in Panama.
Wow. Anyway.
The Bushes. Well, that's because, when you talk to the bearer of information, start learning shit. So now, see, that's a joke. See how I put that the punchline? Before all the other stuff y'all do is just arguing to argue. It's just bickering. Sound like bitches. You know what I'm saying? That's called a punchline. That's called a preview. I led up to it. I hit with the punchline, and now on. Now
the way you explain yourself is funny.
Now under Clinton, we had Serbia. And under Clinton, we had an exuberant amount of corruption within the states itself.
Then you had the whole Monica Lewinsky thing too.
That Clinton body count, there's nothing to argue with that. That documentary kills them on
They keep taking that down.
Of course, Bush won. Hold on. And of course, Bush won, we know, 9/11. But what happened after 9/11? The Patriot Act. Just like we shut down the the financial crisis, 2008, under Obama, Henry Paulson, right? Do people remember who Henry Paulson was? Obama's man, who was the head of the Federal Reserve, who bailed out not Goldman Sachs, Lehman, what the fuck? Lehman Brothers. They bailed out Lehman Brothers, and Lehman Brothers bet on bad mortgages. So they saved the company who had bad assets in their management because they bet wrong. Mind you, the owners of these companies, oh yeah, under Bush, we had Enron as well.
Enron.
Bush, Enron. Very important, Enron. Because the things that happened after Enron, but I'm not going to get into that because that's just going to go way over y'all head. So, let's get into the financial crisis and what that did. What it did was it showed big corporations, international corporations that are based in America, that if you are in trouble, the government will help you. And the government will help you and jerk the people. Because the government, hold on. The government made money off of that deal, and the people didn't get that money. Look it up. The government made money off the Lehman Brothers deal and off of other things that were going on during that time. And what did you get back in taxes, or what did you get back in anything? Period. Just seriously, period. Obama gave y'all phones, that's all. Those phones were actually paid for by that, if you don't think about it.
That's crazy.
We made money during the financial crisis, and then he gave y'all free phones. Then Trump came in. And under Trump, we had all these different impeachments. We had the coup of America under Trump. The final coup of America. Because America's been under a coup since the 80s, since Carter. From the first Iran situation where they took the hostages in Iran. That was a coup.
It's like that's why they all kicking and screaming, because they were so close. And then all of a sudden a non-politician came in and had to fuck it up for everybody. You know, it's like,
well, what happened was that because he's funding himself. That's what he funded his whole campaign, won the Republican nomination, and then the Republicans had no choice but to fund him. He funded his whole camp. Nobody in political history did that besides Ross Perot. And I'm thinking damn, Bob Dole. I'm thinking Dole, but I'm not sure about Dole. I would say Perot, definitely.
Ross Perot, I know for sure, yeah.
Funded his own campaign. And there's other ones too. Ditmus. What's that guy's name, man? Oh man. I think it was going against Carter or maybe even Nixon. I can't remember. Anyway, he's very important too in the 80s. But these are the things that people don't know about is history. Like, oh, I just want to know about the Trump assassination and Charlie Kirk assassination. Nothing else. What are you talking about? If you look at those assassinations, you realize that it's a repeat from JFK, Reagan. I mean, how many different people tried to get shot or almost got shot? And using shooting is a thing that only so many countries do. Israel, United States. That's it. Everybody else poisons people. Russia poisons people. The UK poisons people. These guys poison people. That's an American and a Mossad thing. They shoot you. Because we are the ones who make guns. Hello. There's only two countries that well, not only, but two of the biggest manufacturers of guns are the United States and Russia.
Bro,
that's it.
Even in crime, the separation is there. I was watching a mob documentary the other day, and they mentioned something I already knew about, but it reminded me that in Sicily they use car bombs, you know, and over here they weren't doing that shit. They were using the guns. So it's like governments.
Because it's easier for them to get a gun in America than the bomb material.
And it's vice versa, I'm sure, out there.
It's bomb material. But in Sicily, it's easier if you get the bomb material because everyday items.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Now go on, go on. I just wanted to make sure that
No, no,
everybody
no. That was
understands that.
it.
Like, it's not,
That was
like
exactly
what
what
you,
I was gonna say.
what
Yeah,
you
over there is it. The gun control so crazy. It's easier for them to get their hands on all the shit to make the bombs.
in England, they have a problem with. In England, they have a problem with knives.
Uh-huh.
Why? Because
Stabbings.
get a gun. They have a major issue with stabbings.
And it's funny
So my
because their stabbing problem is way worse than our gun problem, but they compare our gun crime to their gun crime instead of our violent crime to their violent crime because they know how that's gonna look.
it's gonna look retarded. It's gonna look backwards because they have more violent. We have a lot of gun violence in America. Yeah, we have a lot of gun violence in America, but the amount of violent incidents they have with knives and bats, you might as well in England walk around with a bat just in case somebody just right. You at least
Shit, you might as well
you
not
know what I'm
walk
saying.
around. You might as well walk around with a hijab.
And I ain't gonna hold you. It's crazy because the police in England don't carry guns.
I ain't know that.
What? The police in England don't carry guns. They carry sticks.
That's
Only the detectives.
crazy.
Yeah, where the hell you been at? That's been like that since I went to England in '93. It was like that. Yeah, I've been to England 4 times, 3 times, 4 times. I've been to England. I got cousins that live in London, so I go out there to go see my cousins. Well, I can't go anymore, but I used to go out there to go see my cousins. But yeah, England's all right. England's a nice country. Looks very, very, very old school, traditional country. Old values. You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't know how it is now. Now they say the Islamists took over. I don't know. Or at least maybe that's London.
And now
I
that's
don't know
how
about the rest
the
of it.
No Kings protesters, that's what they want. They want to set us up so we can have Islamic no-go zones and all of that. Weren't you the one that telling me they're already doing a call to prayer in New York City?
That was in. They did that. They're trying to make that a regular thing, but they did it in Midtown, at Times Square, and they also did it at the mayor's office, which was supposedly it was supposedly controversial, which I don't really necessarily see the controversy in it, but where he did it, as far as the room he did it in, that's what they're trying to say. I mean, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now, them doing public call to prayers, that's not Christians and Jews and Buddhists don't do this, so why would you?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you rent a park and you did it in a park, I'd be like, all right, cool. Because if you had a fair there, it would be the same thing anyway. You get what I'm saying? So I understand some shit like that, but for you to go in the street and try to coordinate off the street by getting a permit as though you're doing a march or something and have a call of prayer is just crazy.
And then don't they, like the first one, isn't that like
I don't know.
stupid early in the morning?
Or they do it 5 times a day, and it's not necessarily as early. It's 5 o'clock, but
No, I said the first one.
The call, right? But it's the call to prayer that people were complaining about. Was it's if you go to Middle East, they have it and it's on loudspeakers out in the open,
Yeah.
so you hear it. They're like outright. You know what I'm saying? Now, if they have laws against people's cars being too loud, do you think that they're gonna allow that?
Mm-hmm.
And you think that they're wrong for not wanting to allow that?
That was my point that I was trying to make. Like, other than everything else that's obvious about it, who the fuck wants to hear that shit at 5 o'clock in the morning?
Fuck all that. Why can't they do a text message system where you guys text out a call to prayer?
Yeah.
Why does it have to be loudspeakers
Mm-hmm.
out in the community?
Right.
Why?
Text Allahu Akbar to 666 if you want your call of prayer. And that's it.
You understand? And then the ringtone that should come across your phone should be that. Whatever their call to prayer should be, that should be the ringtone that comes on your phone at that particular time. And then, no, for real.
Facts.
And everybody's phone should. You should text that you want to receive a text message, and a text message shouldn't be a text message. It should be when they send it to you, the ringtone comes on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can set that though. Like on my phone, I have a certain ringtone for the text message conversation that goes off every time my bike moves. So my GPS gives me a text message. So in that particular conversation, I have a certain ringtone. So when I hear that shit, I know that's what it is. My bike moving. So yeah, they can set that shit same way. Like they just go into the conversation where they're getting that call to prayer notification, and boom, set it.
Now, folks, once we get this studio set up, and I get my chalkboard or my whiteboard, and I start really sitting down and doing the whole, I'm gonna really break down all these things to you guys in a different manner, in a different light. When I mean break down, I mean I'm gonna sit there with the whiteboard and go through each issue. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna break down the history of all these issues in a different light and format. This is such a short format because I can't write things down and I can't show you. I could, but it's just not right now. This is just a talking format for you guys to understand and for us to just, we're just shooting the shit. We will come together with more documentary like programming shortly, but we will also always have this shooting the shit. You know what I'm saying? Which is what we're doing now. We're just shooting the shit about these topics that we know make no sense to us. So we just feel as though maybe the audience can make it make sense.
Mhm.
Because with our information and what we talk about, it doesn't add up. It adds up as though these are paid protesters. They're beefing and complaining about stuff that are half truths, and they don't really understand government anyway. And then half the time too, a lot of the people that are protesting and what they're protesting about actually not even really relevant to their lives. Right.
So the paid protesters, whether I agree or not, at least I understand. People do shit for money. It goes down.
Right.
But the people that are not being paid, that actually agree with this kind of shit, like the people that sit home and watch MSNBC all day and fucking root for these protesters, like that's the people that I don't understand their mindset. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, we'll have some of those type of people on. Soon. Soon we will be able to have those type of people on. Because I have a lot of family. Oh, trust me. I mean, like, I don't even talk politics in my family because I'm gonna hear somebody talking about something and I'm not gonna let them rock. Now I've learned to let them rock because I don't want to have the 3 hour argument back and forth, even though it amuses me. Like how you guys get amused, it amuses me to argue with them. That no matter what they're saying, it doesn't matter to me. That's why the bickering shit I be like. That's why it pisses me off. I know that when somebody's talking and you're arguing with them, when you're bickering with them to have laughs, you're not actually listening to them. So even though that their point make more sense than your point, it doesn't matter. It's just a bickering back and forth, some high school shit. You get what I'm saying? So I've had conversations even with intellectuals like a Sean, who's not a dumb person, but he will sometimes get confused. And then I have to correct them and not like correct them, but express my opinion. And then I believe 9 out of 10 times he agrees with my opinion. And I also believe that he may not want to admit that, but 9 out of 10 times he agrees with my opinion. Then there's times when he still doesn't agree with me. He's like, nah, you bugging. You're doing, and I'm like, whatever, that's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
But
But
the people like Sean, though, let me tell you, that aren't dumb but buy into that shit, is because they haven't fully been able to admit to themselves that the news be lying, right? And
yeah,
you should be able to believe what you hear on the news. In a perfect world, that's where you're supposed to be able to get your current events from. So you should be able to put on the 7 o'clock news on your local channel and whatever cable channel you feel like watching because you like the host personality, and everything they say should be true and you should be able to believe it. So once he hears it reported, you know what I mean, then in his mind, that's the truth. And how could you be arguing with that? It makes perfect sense.
no, what it is this, and I mean not no, like I don't agree with you. I agree 100% with you. To add on to what you're saying is this: they will listen to anybody with a uniform on.
Yep. Doctor uniform,
I watch
police uniform.
drive trucks. I watch guys that drive trucks and and if the audience don't know already, I own trucks, I drive trucks, whatever. I see guys that drive trucks in t-shirts, tank tops, shorts, slippers, and then I watch guys that wear uniforms or just trucker gear, things that you don't care about getting dirty and you can just toss them into the wash machine. Material that's built for trucking, reflective gear, you know what I'm saying? People that are reflective out, right? All right, now, I see them and the way when they walk into places, the way people treat them is different.
Mm-hmm.
They might not even be making more money than the other guy, but it's the way that you present yourself. You understand? In New
Yeah.
York, million people, 350,000 people showed up to the protest. I mean, for something that was protested nationally with millions of dollars put into it, that's not people fucking, you know what I'm saying? Whatever.
Word, knowing that all these people are actually getting paid to be there. So how many does it leave? Like out of those 350,000 people, how many were actually there out of the conviction of them? And then here's the thing too, bless their hearts. I'm not trying to shit on anybody. Not that I never do. But in this particular situation, it's not even like that. I'm not trying to shit on anybody. But it's like, yo, how dumb do these people gotta be? The ones that were there for free and not being paid to protest. Like, if it's such a small number, and the reason it's such a small number is because it's such a ridiculous cause, and it's so blatantly obvious that most people see it for what it is. How dumb the ones gotta be that really buy into it, though? Like, that's crazy, man.
But 350,000 people, even if you paid half of them $20 an hour to be there, that's still a lot of money.
Uh-huh.
A lot of money.
But the people that are paying for that kind of shit, man, they got the money to throw around, and they go off for donations and everything.
There you go. I was gonna say that shit too about the money to throw around, and even their money is they're getting 503c money from the government.
Uh-huh.
George Soros, yeah, these people.
Mm.
Act Blue. Yes, folks, look that up.
Yeah.
Act Blue.
And the causes that they're paying people to protest are against their money.
The Republicans have their shit too. CPAC and all that. They got their major
Mhm.
super PAC now. But Act Blue is actually laundering money. That's a little bit different. They're actually laundering money. And then they're
Mhm.
using it for these type of events and these type of situations to put together. Because they have to pay for the promotion, they have to pay people to come, and then they also have to pay for water, signs, you know what I'm saying? They have to pay for paper, pens to write on, like, you know what I'm saying? All this stuff is somebody has to pay for this stuff. This is not an organically functioning situation. People know to go there because somebody's pushing it. Somebody's paying for the social media fucking advertisement. Somebody's paying for the advertisement on TV. It's not that people are just so outraged that they want to do some shit. That's bullshit. Because if that's the case, then they would, you would be protesting every single president.
Mhm.
Because every single president's administration is accused of doing something illegal.
But look, it's so blatantly obvious how they're doing it too, because you got all these left-wing nut jobs that were speaking at the event. Bro, you had Bernie Sanders talking, you had Ilhan Omar talking, whole bunch of people that got up and just riling up the crowd about how evil Trump is and how evil ICE is. And it was really more about ICE than it was about Trump. So it's like they're amping
You
people
know
up to
why?
go
You know
out
why?
there and resist law enforcement.
Because who's the biggest donors? What ethnicity are they? One, two, who is Trump fighting right now? So they can only say so much about that. So they have to fight ICE because that's the only other way. But now ICE is in the airport, so now ICE is helping. So now what are they going to do? In a month or two, ICE is going to be looked at in a different light. That's the problem with the Republican Party, right? They're the way that they promote and push their ideas and their accomplishments is backwards. They're too humble and they're too old. That's the problem. The problem, and on the Democratic side too, because the younger people, even the younger Democrats, do not believe in the stuff that's being pushed in the older Democratic Party establishment. Most of these people that are at these type of protests are not young people. They're older, 50-year-old white women, 50-year-old old retiree women. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Even the abortion argument, right? Abortion should not be a federal right, because abortion is not a right. Abortion is a right within your state because it's a territorial right. It's not a federal government right. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Federally, that's not your right to have an abortion. State by state wise, that's up to the state. Just like it's up to the state to say if marijuana is legal or not. Just like in New York where I'm at, marijuana is legal, recreational. You can smoke it, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So you're allowed to smoke marijuana in New York. Now you go to somewhere like in North Carolina, you can't be found with a clip or ash in your ashtray. So you found with a dead spliff that you're not even smoking anymore, that you don't have no plans on smoking, that you're done with smoking in your car still, and you will go to jail. But in New York, you can ride around with damn near half a pound of weed, smoking shit, and they're not saying nothing to you. You could definitely walk in the street and smoke weed without a problem. They're definitely not saying nothing to you. Maybe you get pulled over, they might have something to say, but they're not going to give you a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been years where the parking meter people have been smoking weed and walking up to them and cursing them out for years now. In New York, I've seen it, drove past it, I've done it myself, yelling at them and screaming at them because they always giving you tickets for no reason. That's just how the parking meter people are revenue source. That's just like, it's like an
Oh,
oppressive
that's
force
been
in New
going
York.
on forever. You remember
Right.
when they used to have the brown shirts and people used to beat the shit out of them, so they had to make them NYPD?
Like, you have the audacity to give somebody a ticket for parking their vehicle inside in front of their own house. What? Your tints
Man,
are
that's crazy.
your tints are too dark. Yo, you're walking, you're a meter maid. You're supposed to check to make sure people pay for their parking on a public street
Mm-hmm.
because there's businesses there that people, you know what I'm saying, like, there's not an abandoned car there and stuff like that. That's the only thing that your job is. You're not supposed to walk down people's actual neighborhoods and no, yeah, there will. And then you know what the crazy thing is? Yo, I had an argument with this girl, and this just shows you the mentality of the people who go to these type of protests. This is the same type of person. She's working a meter maid job. She's walking down the block, not on a main road in a residential area. She gives me a ticket for having tints on a vehicle that has Florida tint plates on it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me repeat that. She gave me a tint ticket for a vehicle that had Florida plates on it. I'm in New York. Why does your tint laws have effect the Florida plate holder? It doesn't. What you're doing is now forcing me to go to the spot, forcing me to go pay for this ticket because obviously you know the car's in New York. So now that you see the car's in New York, the car can't stay in New York with this ticket over its head. You see how this works? It's an oppressive force. Oh, you're in New York without paying or going by our regulation. I'm gonna give you a bullshit ticket and force you to go to the court anyway. Because at least I made my quota. Because look how much tickets I wrote. It's a facade. It's the same thing like these protests. It's the same facade. They're telling you that these people are all up in arms and their emotion and this, that, and the third, and all this bullshit. But then when we look at all the signs, they're all the same. All the people are dressed the same. It's all coordinated. You always see people, somebody there that's leading this, the at least a few people, and it's multiple different people that are leading a few people. It's set up just like a military, because this is a fucking invasion. This is a coup. This is a psyop by people within the government that either were infiltrated or are traitors or are trying to do a coup over the government itself and control the government from the back ends and put their own puppet in charge. And they want to get out whatever person's in. Because this one person that's particularly now in is the only puppet that has not been a puppet since, let's say, Reagan. And then before that, you'd say Nixon. And then before that, you'd say Eisenhower. Because everybody else was a puppet. Those are the only presidents that weren't puppets, that didn't have a group that helped them get in. Everybody else had a group that helped them get in. Jimmy Carter was an idiot. Jimmy Carter was a
Oh,
peanut intellectual. He was not in the inner workings of Washington. He wasn't in. He was from Georgia. He won because people were pushing that. Reagan won because people were pushing it until he found out certain things and he started to see how he was talking. And then they shot his ass. And then he changed. But he still stayed somewhat to his values. Then Bush came in, who I mean, this guy was in the CIA since fucking World War II. I mean, like when it was the OSS. Like, I mean, you can't listen to anything he's saying because anything come out of his mouth is propaganda. Hence the reason why he had two sons that was in such high political stature. You understand? Then now Clinton now. Well, let's go with Clinton and let's go with the Clintons and their weird relationships. The Clintons are not married like a married couple. They're married as an arrangement. You understand? It's a political arrangement. All right, now let's go to the next Bush now. Well, we already talked about his pops, so now you know that he's obviously the puppet because his pops was already the puppet, and not even just a puppet, but his pops was a orchestrator from the original puppet masters. You understand? So, and we already see who Bush was. Why do you think Cheney had so much power? Because Cheney was involved in the top echelons of that real puppet masters. You know what I'm saying? Now, then you go to Obama, who
was that Cheney shot?
his assistant. It was an
It was his
assistant.
assistant.
Yeah, I can't remember. I got to go into that. So now, after the Bush was Obama, and Obama's history is that his mother and his real father was CIA, and his real father was a communist, and his real father
Marshall Davis.
His real father is not from Kenya. His grandfather is OSS, CIA. So what you have what's going on right now, right? Then you get Trump, whose history goes back to the John Birch Society. This is things that people need to really understand what I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you real history. What I'm telling you right now is stuff that no one is talking about. The John Birch Society is who backs Trump, or not who backs Trump, but those type of circles, those ideas, those agendas is what Trump was brought up with. Now, whether they back him, they influenced him definitely. Remember, he had Roy Cohen. He was very in tune. He had to deal with the mafia. He had to deal with the regulators in the city. He had to deal with the mayors of the city. He had to deal with a lot. So Trump is not necessarily an outsider, but he was an outsider inside the outside. You understand? He's on the
That 5
inside.
times fast.
He's an insider of he's an insider that's outside, but's inside of the outside.
You know what? Let's pause exempt that shit too while we had it.
So anyway, Trump, like I said, is an insider, but he's not an insider in their circle. It's multiple circles. You know what I'm saying? It's just that he's in a circle. Yeah. No, I know you know. I'm just saying people listening, somebody that on 10 years, 20 years down the line, they're not going to be sitting like, what the hell is he talking about? No, I'm telling you what's really actually it is. It's just that I'm a guy sitting in my car right
access. He has access to all the places and people that the insiders have access to, but he's not down with their plan.
Because there's multiple plans, but all have different ways to get to the end of their plan. But somewhere in the way of each other's plans, you may benefit off of something. So something that they put in place to get their plan in order, you may benefit off of, but you don't necessarily agree with their end game, or even the way that they're implementing their plan. But you have another plan, but at the end of your plan, you're at the top. Just like how at the end of their plan, they're at the top. It's simple mathematics. You understand? So now then you have somebody like a Biden come in who's totally compromised. See, Obama wasn't compromised. Obama was in the end. Biden was not in the end. Biden was compromised. You understand?
Yeah.
That's the difference. Obama's family.
Well, Biden was senile anyway, so he had to be compromised. It wouldn't have worked unless he was compromised.
Not after Hunter Biden and the Chinese first off, the laptop alone. Let's just get past the laptop because everybody want to talk the bullshit, but the laptop is not fake news. It's not. It has been confirmed.
Oh, yeah.
Real. What was on the laptop? Giuliani already told you what he saw on the laptop. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You trust Giuliani during 9/11, but you don't trust him now all of a sudden. That doesn't make no sense to me. So let's keep going on. And also, Giuliani was correct about the Georgia shit too. Where they had the video, the girl was under the table with the bin with all the votes, and they cheated. It is what it is. Those two people, he said what he said, and what he said was correct. The only reason why they went back against it is because of the Dominion voting machine rulings. And now the Dominion voting machine rulings, now that they're overturned, guess what? Giuliani now can go back to his case. Y'all comprehend what I just said? Because the Dominion voting machines, after Maduro got yapped up from Venezuela, the Dominion voting machine stories is getting hushed under the rug. Why? Because it's a power struggle right now between Russia, China, Israel, the United States, the Democrats, the old school Republicans, the progressives, the communists slash Marxists slash Nazis, because they're all in one
So
group.
what do you think? What do you think the odds that these No Kings protests are trying to distract people from the Dominion shit right now?
No, this is what I'm trying to explain to you. So now all these different groups now are at odds with each other and at war with each other because they want to be at the top. You also have the old school British Empire. You also have old school European empires. And then you also have, you know what I'm saying, the Middle Eastern, the Wahhabis. Because that's who's in power right now in the Middle East is the Wahhabis. It's nobody else. It's not the Shiites. It's not the Sunnis. It's the Wahhabis who are on top. And then they are whatever side of the religion that they want to be on. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But their bloodline is Wahhabis. That's who's at the top of Saudi Arabia. You know what I'm saying? That's who has the most money is the Saudi Arabians. I mean, yeah, you have the EU, the UAE, you have Oman. You know what I'm saying? You have Burma, yeah, Burma. What is Burma? What the fuck is that shit? Whatever the other one,
Myanmar.
huh? Where?
Myanmar is Burma. Burma used to be called Burma. Now it's called Myanmar. I don't know if that's what you're talking
Okay, yeah, where the guy who rules there, he has a lot of cars and stuff like that. That guy, he's very wealthy. Okay, these countries have nothing compared to Saudi Arabia. That's number one. Qatar also, but Qatar is very wealthy as well. But Qatar is not Wahhabis. They're, I think, it's Shiite, right, or Sunni. Either way, these people are. Those are the three factions in the Middle East: Wahhabi, Sunni, and Shiite. Those are the three factions of the religion that they believe at in the Middle East. After that, now you have India, and India has their own structure in itself. So you have like 30 different groups that's worldwide fighting for control and structure. You see what I'm saying?
about.
And at any point in time, any one of these groups can be influencing shit in America, outside of America, internationally. It doesn't matter where. You see what I'm saying? And now what's happening is that these groups that's in America, which is the fascists, the Nazis, the progressives, they're all one group. And they're pushing the No Kings protest to block anything, period, that's going on in the news. You understand? They don't care what positive is in the news. They only want to like the negative because it's pushing their agenda against their enemy or their opposition, which is the Trump side of it, which is the America First type of, the businessman, the old school businessman. You see what I'm saying? They're only biased towards poor people. They only like rich people. If you're rich, they don't give a fuck who you are as long as you're rich. They're cool. You know what I'm saying? Because you understand them. You understand? That's what's going on. And that's what people don't get is the difference. You know what I'm saying?
What
These
I
people
notice about the left is that when their people are in power, I'm sorry, when their people are not in power, and every time things start getting good, they have to make a fucking big stink and complain and, just make people feel like, they keep the tone negative because the fact that things are getting better under someone else's watch kind of discredits them and they can't be discredited.
every single administration, there's protests. There's even protests under Obama. So what's the difference now exactly?
There's
The difference
protests under
now,
Obama, you said?
yeah, there's protests under Obama. So the difference
Who was
now,
protesting? The right was protesting?
of course, the right was protesting. They weren't protesting Obama. They were actually protesting things he was doing. See, these people are
But
protesting Trump, a
but
horrible
that just
person.
goes to show you how much attention that shit gets because I never even heard about none of that shit, but all of this is all over the news. Like there's obviously a bias in the
No,
media.
it was on. That you're talking years ago, and it was there. You just wasn't looking for it. You wasn't into that era of looking at that time. You know what I'm saying? At that
Nah,
time,
when Obama was president, I was really into that kind of shit.
yeah, Obama had 2 terms.
huh?
Obama had 2 terms.
I know, and for both of those terms, man, I was listening to Alex Jones, Michael Savage, Rush Limbaugh, everybody, and then looking up fucking
You was
on the
listening to
Drudge Report and back when that shit used to be good. But I'm talking about right now with this No
this.
King shit, it's all over the regular news. Everybody's talking about it, you know what I mean?
All right, and I hear you. I'm trying to break that down. You're repeating yourself. We understand it's over the news now. That's because we already understand that it's an MK Ultra and mind control and it's a psyop. What I'm trying to tell you is that back then it was a difference when you have the Republicans or more. Stop. Let me get off the Republican and Democrat shit. When you have a conservative group or people who are more libertarians, because at that point in time it was the libertarians that was protesting Obama. And why you didn't recognize it? Because
Oh,
you
like the
weren't.
Tea Party?
It's because you wasn't recognizing it because you're talking about after that. That's when you probably was into it now. Because I'm talking about his first term. His first term, yes, the Tea Party. But the Tea Party started under Bush, where they was pushing under Bush. Understand? But it's not just the Tea Party, it was the libertarians. That's where people were. That's where Alex Jones was at all. They were talking about they were libertarians at the time before they started talking about they were Republicans. Because that's the second term of Obama, is when they started saying, no, this is too much. Because he was doing exactly the first term of Obama is Bush 2. The second term of Obama is the first term, and then Biden is Obama's next term, and then the third. You understand? It was three different. It was the globalists used the method of 3 years of or 3 terms of fuckery, but 2 different agendas. The 3 years of fuckery was Bush, Obama. That's when they got all their agenda accomplished with the wars, right? Then they knocked out Osama, right? And then now the next section or the next portion of their agenda was Obama 2, Biden 1, and Biden 2. I mean, or Biden 1, right? That's what they were trying to do. And in between came Trump, and that's why they were fighting Trump so hard in Trump 1. Because he messed up their agenda. It was supposed to be Hillary to come in, and it'd be 2 Hillarys. You understand?
Mhm.
And then they were going to try to push in another Biden or somebody else like that to get the globalist agenda. When I mean the globalist, I mean the New World Order type of Bilderberg group, that group agenda. And their agenda is the 15-minute cities. You own nothing, you'll be happy. We're going to send you out with a whole bunch of viruses. We're going to carbon tax you. That's their agenda. You understand? The communist Chinese now was added on to that agenda because the communist Chinese say, hey, we'll let you test that out on our people, but you have to give us the control over the system. And then what happened was the communist Chinese double crossed the Bilderberg New World Order group, and the communist Chinese now are on their own and doing their own thing. That's why you see the United States now pushing to fight China when Trump came in. Because it's not just about a Trump or a Bush or an Obama, it's an agenda from a bigger cause that has to be pushed regardless of who's in president or not. The Iran thing had to be pushed regardless because it didn't matter who's in president. This is the time to push it. This is an agenda that's bigger than the president. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just telling you how it goes. And people don't know that because people don't understand
Mhm.
history. I was just breaking down every president, and every president had an event or a situation with inside of their presidency. I can get deeper into each presidency now and break down 4 or 5 events. But that's when you really know history and you're really into it and you read books and you're like, yo, I want to learn this. And you're watching doc every day. I don't watch regular stuff. I don't look at regular stuff that you guys watch or that most people watch. I'm watching the news or watching documentaries or I'm reading something. That's how I do this. And I learn from there and I go from there. And then I correlate different things that I watch and read over the years. And I listen to news talk radio. I listen to the Coast to Coast. You know what I'm saying? I listen to the Dr. Sky experiences. I listen to these type of programs that talk about space, aliens, science, technology, history. You know what I'm saying? Politics. They're talking about a little bit of everything. And then I correlate from different shows to books that I've read to history that we've learned that was tainted, but it still has a little bit of history in it. And I correlate to see what actually makes sense. And then I look at modern time and say, oh shit, this is the same thing that's going on from then. It's the same King Arthur and the Round Table, same stuff. The same Lord of the Rings, the same Game of Thrones. It's the same type of structure and scenario that's going on now. Sometimes there's things that's happening that's a little bit bigger than the person that's in the lead, and they have to do things. Now, I'm not going to say that we did it because we had to do what's going on in this war, but I'm going to say that the No Kings protest is something that has to be done to distract from anything that's not on that side's agenda. That's happening. That's positive. That's why this has to happen, and that's why it has to happen now.
That's what I noticed.
Because anything else, all right, there's a few good things that has been happening right now that recently that the economy was doing pretty okay until the war came, right? They didn't want to talk about that. They wasn't talking about that. All right. What they were doing was that they're gonna push the only thing that's negative, and they're not gonna talk about all of the things that was going on with the health, the things that RFK has been doing, right? But they're gonna say, oh, but they allowed who was it they allowed to have the recently that I was against? Not the pharmaceuticals. It's somebody that's protected against insurance. Oh man, I can't remember, man. Damn, my mind just went blank. And it's important because it correlates to exactly what's going on now. The fact that all these wins is happening, and it is only like one or two things that Trump did that's actually like a negative look, and that's why they're pushing that. When all these other things that they're doing is so positive, you know what I'm saying? Like the tariffs were working. The tariffs was holding other countries accountable. That's number one. Number two, we were gathering all the rare earth minerals around the world, where we have the most oil reserves. World, you know what I'm saying? It's like all these different things are adding up and adding up. We're becoming energy independent. You see what I'm saying? Where we're pushing out our oil and our coal because we could go dig for coal too. So these different materials is what those groups want to fight, because you have people within those groups that are environmentalists too, which is a whole other scam in itself. You see what I'm saying? And these
Those are
psyops,
the worst, and they've been doing that forever.
yeah, because Florida's supposed to be underwater like about 30 years ago. I'm still trying to figure out that Florida's supposed
In
to be
Manhattan.
and then people still forget to talk about how Earth has cycles, and I look at the
And
younger
the people that talk about that shit, they all have waterfront property.
yeah, the people in Malibu. I don't understand that. You guys live
Martha's
in
Vineyard.
California, but you know, this is a psyop that people have and people can't comprehend. But y'all gotta go.
You heard it, peoples? The No Kings protest. Are they on to something, or are they batshit crazy? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for joining us. This has been another episode of the Unc Podcast. We will see you next Sunday.
That's it.